Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a horror action film, Stake Land Part 2. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins several years after the end of the first film. Martin is now a father to a young girl, and his wife is Crossbow, the blonde woman he met in the first movie. He is now also a strong and capable man who has built a good life for his family inside the community of New Haven, the safe place for the surviving humans in the aftermath of the vampire plague. Martin tucks his daughter to bed and tells her how he met the fierce vampire hunter named Mr., who saved him when he was a young boy and taught him everything he needed to survive. He also tells the girl that one day, Mr. mysteriously disappeared, leaving behind just his skull necklace for Martin to have. After his daughter goes to sleep, Martin says goodbye to his wife. He will help the other men of New Haven to guard their perimeter since the alarm was raised. When he joins the rest of the men, he is informed that a band of cultists is attacking New Haven with hordes of vampires with them. Many of the humans die, and Martin fights the vampires. Some of the vampires reach Martin's family's cabin. The wife rushes and packs their belongings, but they are too late. The wife and daughter are caught by the new cult leader, who is a scared sentient vampire. She kills the wife and daughter with the wife's own arrow. Martin discovers their dead bodies and cries in anguish. With his life destroyed, he is now hell-bent on getting his revenge and killing the scarred vampire. Martin sets out on his own. He intends to find Mr., who he knows is still hunting vampires and fighting the cult. He's now a fugitive being hunted by the cult. During his journey, he finds posters proclaiming that Mr. is wanted alive. While camping alone in a forest, Martin imagines that Mr. is sitting in front of him. He reveals to Mr. with a haunted look in his eyes that his wife and daughter are now dead. He also imagines that Mr. advises him to act like the living person he is, and not as if he died along with his family. Martin continues on his journey. He meets a nice elderly couple who invites him to their house to stay for the night. They share their food with him, and Martin grows at ease with the couple. However, after dinner, he starts to feel really sleepy. It's implied that the couple drugged his food with the intention of killing or eating him. Before he loses consciousness, Martin dodges the husband's gunshot, and the bullet hits the wife instead. This distracts the husband, and Martin kills him before he fully loses consciousness. In the morning, he wakes up with the elderly couple's dead bodies around the room. Martin goes on his way. He encounters a man in a makeshift store. He shows him Mr.'s wanted poster, and the man replies that he saw Mr. in a nearby abandoned plant before. Martin goes to the plant and snoots around it. He sees a bedraggled little girl and cautiously approaches her. But she was just a distraction. Behind him, a group of cannibals raise a hammer high and knock him in the head with it. The cannibals take him back to their camp. Around them, human body parts and skulls are displayed. Because of the food shortage brought about by the plague, many people have resorted to eating human flesh. These cannibals hunt other humans and kill them so they can eat their meat and smelly parts. The cannibals force Martin to fight another human captive. It turns out this captive is Mr. himself. Mr. recognizes Martin. He pretends that he will strike Martin with his blade, but instead sends the blade flying to the cannibal leader's chest. The two of them then escape the cannibal camp and take a young feral girl with them. They find an empty house where they can stay, and Martin reveals to Mr. what happened with his family. He also tells him that the cultists are now more organized and able to control their vampire horde. He states that he wants to kill the scarred vampire for what she did to his wife and daughter. Mr. cautions him that wanting revenge can only lead to his death. Martin replies that he had already buried everyone he loves, and he doesn't care anymore. They are interrupted by a small group of cultists who attack the house. Mr. manages to lead Martin and the feral girl inside the secret cellar tunnel of the house. He then faces off against the cultists himself, but they overpower him and take him with them. They take Mr. to a grassy field and tie him to a wooden cross for the vampires to find. When night falls, a vampire approaches Mr. He loosens his binds and lands on the ground. The vampire claws at his stomach before being taken down by Martin and the feral girl. Mr. is still alive, but he has a serious injury in his stomach. Martin lights up a flare stick and uses it to cauterize the wound. The cultists are astounded that Mr. was able to escape. Moments later, the scarred vampire arrives. She wants Mr. taken to her, and she is angry that the cultist lost him. The cultist is scared, and he tries to make up for his mistake by saying that he has already dispatched other cultists to search for Mr. In her rage, the scarred vampire kills the cultist for losing Mr. They settle in the woods so Mr. can rest. Martin mentions that he saw a willow tree, so he will get some bark to ease Mr.'s pain. While he's gone, 3 cultists arrive and point their guns at Mr. One of the men attempts to force his hormone on the feral girl. Fortunately, Martin arrives and immediately lands an axe at the back of one of the cultists, stopping his hormone flow in time. Mr. shoots the other cultist. They take hostage the remaining cultist, who begs for mercy and says that he was only forced by the cultists to join them. Later on, they encounter another group of survivors. One of the men recognizes Mr. and they take him and his group to a base so he can be seen by a doctor. While he's sleeping, Mr. dreams of a memory from the past. He had crept up to a camp and seen a female vampire who had just given birth to a baby. The vampire seemed to be sentient and was even cradling the baby. With no remorse, Mr. let loose his arrow and killed the baby. Martin gets acquainted with Mr.'s two friends. He learns that he was with them in Mexico when the plague started. They went their separate ways as Mr. continued hunting vampires, and the two friends stayed in the base. Martin also meets a friendly little girl who is living on the base. Their hostage cultist is locked in a room in the base, but he pretends that he hanged himself in order to get a nurse to think he is dead. When she enters the room, he kills her and escapes the base. He runs back to the cult and informs the scarred vampire that he knows where Mr. is. He leads her and the vampire horde to the base. They use their truck to ram down the base's perimeter and go inside. Mr.'s friends and the other men rush outside to defend their base. Martin recognizes the scarred vampire as the one who killed his wife and child. Mr. also recognizes her as the vampire whose baby he killed all those years ago. He realizes that she is there to take revenge on him for killing his child. Luckily, the humans power up several floodlights with a generator and are able to scare away the shitty vampires. The scarred vampire calls her army to retreat. The group is also able to capture the hostage cultist. They take him inside a room and start torturing him. He is adamant that the cult will win in the end because they have God on their side. He also tells them that it's only a matter of time before the scarred vampire will return and kill Mr. for what he had done. Mr. then realizes that the scarred vampire had only killed Martin's wife and daughter in order to spur him into finding Mr. and eventually leading her to him. Martin responds by slitting the cultist's throat. Mr. advises his friends that they should evacuate the civilians off the base before the scarred vampire returns. He and Martin plan to make their last stand there and give the people enough time to evacuate while they hold off the cultists. Martin doesn't care if he dies, as long as he takes the scarred vampire with him. Mr.'s two friends also volunteer to stay behind because they have been running since Mexico and they are tired of hiding. As the people start evacuating, Mr. ties the feral girl's hand and forces her to go with the civilians who are leaving. The feral girl protests, but she has no choice. The scared vampire and her army return to the base once again. They bomb the generator to ensure that the humans can't use the floodlights again. Mr. and Martin take her on in joint efforts, and after a fast and furious fight, Martin decapitates the scarred vampire. Mr. sees him holding the head, and he asks him if he now feels better after fulfilling his vendetta. Martin replies that this doesn't erase his grief, but he doesn't feel worse either. Mr.'s two friends are trapped in the kitchen with several vampires. They decide to sacrifice themselves by blowing themselves up and taking the vampires with them. Mr. is injured from the fight with the scarred vampire. He and Martin trek outside the base, hoping to follow the civilians who evacuated earlier on. They then see the feral girl who had escaped from the civilians, but was unluckily bitten by another vampire in the neck. As her last act, the feral girl runs and attacks a vampire who had been following Martin and Mr. After killing him, she collapses in Mr.'s arms, who then kills her out of mercy. The feral girl's death completely breaks Mr.'s heart. He had already lost too much and seen so many deaths. He tells Martin that he will stay behind and fight the remaining vampires so Martin can go ahead and escape. Martin initially refuses, but Mr. is intent on dying there. Before saying goodbye, Mr. calls Martin his son and tells him that he wants him to do better than he did. Teary-eyed, Martin bids his father farewell. As the sun begins to rise, Martin catches up with the evacuating civilians. The same little girl he had met earlier turns around and approaches him. The movie ends with the girl holding Martin's hand as they walk to a better future. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.